obviously you're this amazing producer, director, you're all over the world, but you told me that you were making a film about Taiwan. I was so excited. We're like, oh, we got to get you on the show. But that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It took quite some time, huh?
Yeah. I've traveled the world. I've been in over 40 countries with Invisible Nation. It's been incredible.
That is incredible. So
Yeah.
Invisible Nation is finally done. It's finally out. But this is something we need to tell the audience, right?
Yeah.
Here you are, this internationally famous film director, producer, but it seems like you have this very special connection with Taiwan. You're so passionate about this topic.
Yes.
Why is that? How did this start?
I think it had to do with living here for the very first time as a student when Taiwan became a democracy, when you had the first direct presidential elections. And I asked my Chinese language teacher if I could borrow her camera, and I ran around filming during Li Denghui's inauguration weekend. So that was
kidding me.
Transformative.
Wow, so
Yeah.
you were here, you were in the process of it all.
Yes.
Li Denghui, for the audience out there, that's just a little reference, he's considered the first democratically elected president
Yes.
of Taiwan,
Yes.
of the Republic of China. And you were here, you were a student back then.
I was a student, and I had lived in Beijing before that, and I had no idea that Taiwan was going through this process of transformation itself and becoming a democracy. So it was just eye-opening.
Yeah, this journey has been quite incredible. Not only for Taiwanese people, but then also for someone from your background that came
New York
here.
City.
Yeah, New York City, and then you were part of Beijing. You were there for quite some time, and then
Yeah.
you're in Taiwan. And so that's why you're so submersed completely in all of this, and you
Yes.
understand so much of it.
Yes, I
Right.
try. I feel I'm always learning, and I just love coming back. I'm so honored to be here. This is like the ultimate homecoming, bringing this back to where it belongs, spreading the love from
thank
around
you.
the world to Taiwan.
And I gotta say, it's an amazing film. What got you started to want to make Invisible Nation?
Well, first I was in foreign policy at a think tank in New York, and I thought, how can I capture the diplomatic relationship between the United States and China? So that was the first documentary film I made, was following President Obama's US ambassador to China, all over China. And I knew Taiwan fits in that story, but that's not the way to tell Taiwan's story. And I did not know Taiwan's whole story. So I needed to come here and hear about Taiwan from the people of Taiwan. And I thought, you might elect your first female president in January 2016. The timing was perfect. I had just finished that first film, been on the festival circuit, it was out. And then I came in 2016 and I witnessed President Tsai win.
Wow.
And that was the start.
Oh my goodness. So the idea started before Tsai Ing-wen was elected. So we're talking about almost 3 terms prior to now was when you started to have this idea.
Yes, I had no idea that she would be elected. So I was winging it. I came, I worked with a local crew, I witnessed what was happening. And when it happened, I have never witnessed anything like the excitement and energy around her win. And I thought, this is huge, historic.
Right.
I've got to follow this.
Yeah. So before we continue, this movie, Invisible Nation, I saw it. It was incredible. It was very, very powerful. So before we go on, we have a clip of the movie. So let's check it out.
We have a history of not fully understanding totalitarian regime until it's too late.
We have walked a long path from authoritarianism to free and open democracy, and that path was not an easy one.
We've lived in a fully democratized country.
It has its own currency, its own military, its own customs regime.
But to this day, Taiwan is called the Republic of China.
When I was young, I was very shy. I never dreamed of being a president. Initially, we have to do that again.
There's a lot of misunderstanding with regard to Taiwan splitting from China. Taiwan has never been controlled, not for a second, by the People's Republic of China.
Taiwan is dealing with a neighbor with a political agenda to annex Taiwan.
It's not just a small island, it is the anchor point in the first island chain governed by democracies. Beijing doesn't like that.
This is not directed at having war with China. It's getting ourselves prepared in case there is a Chinese invasion.
If Taiwan does not have any support, that's going to be a green light to aggression.
Democracy is going to be at risk in Japan and in South Korea, as well as in Southeast Asia.
Everything we are doing is to deter the kind of atrocities that are happening in Ukraine from being repeated in Taiwan.
If Xi Jinping wants to do it, he'll take Taiwan, and he'll kill hundreds of thousands of people in the process.
Freedom around the world is under threat like never before. Taiwan has long been on the front lines of this battle.
我们只有一个选项，就是每一个台湾人都要走出去，到世界的每一个角落，让世界看得到台湾。